You'd like to think that if you follow the Lord's command, as we just heard in the life of Joseph, as he resists the temptation of Potiphar's wife, that all things go well for him. That's really not the case. She then comes to her husband and accuses him falsely, Joseph, of attempted rape. This puts Joseph in prison, and that's where we pick it up today. He's in prison, and this keeps him in contact with some other prisoners. One of those prisoners is the cupbearer to the Pharaoh. Now, that's an important position we're not going to get into right now, but that cupbearer reveals to Joseph, he says, I had this dream. And Joseph listens to the dream, and by God's power, he's actually able to interpret it. The best part for the cupbearer is that according to the interpretation that Joseph gave, soon this cupbearer is going to be restored back to his position with the Pharaoh. And you can imagine, if I was going to write the movie for this, there'd be man hugs and fist pounds, and Joseph saying, hey, I've got one thing, and this is what he asks. But when all goes well with you, remember me and show me kindness. Mention me to Pharaoh and get me out of this prison. For I was forcibly carried off from the land of the Hebrews, and even here I have done nothing to deserve being put in a dungeon. And so you can just imagine Joseph waiting, because this guy, no doubt, is going to let him down. He's going to come through for him, but it says right here, the chief cupbearer, however, did not remember Joseph. He forgot him. Without a doubt, the most disappointment, the most pain you'll ever have in your life is going to come from people. No sports team, no pet, no job, no product you purchase is going to disappoint you more than people will. And it's one thing if that disappointment comes from someone far off, like a boss, or it comes from your boss forgets you for a promotion or doesn't give you a raise, or your coach just leaves you on the end of the bench. It's one thing if it's someone who's far off, but what happens if it's someone close? What happens if it's your own father? What happens if it's a family member? What happens if your spouse seems emotionally to have forgotten you in your relationship? Then what? Isaiah uses this picture to describe the kind of God we have. He says in Isaiah chapter 49, verse 15, he asks this question, can a mother forget the baby at her breast and have no compassion on her child? Though she may forget, talking about God, I will not forget you. If you feel alone right now, know two things. You're not alone. There's a world of people who feel just like you do. And if you feel alone, know probably even more importantly, that though people might forget you, people might disappoint you, people might make you frustrated and angry, our God never will. Does it seem like people are getting more and more lonely even though we have all these connections? I'd like to hear your thoughts. Put those down below, hit subscribe, and we'll see you tomorrow. To understand the life of Joseph, we're going to go all the way to the end of his life. And if I told you that he, in his lifetime, was the second in command of the most